I promise you, win or lose, unless I am forced to sign an NDA, I will share her name publicly, because if her board does what they should do, what our board does here in my state, it should be public record. But I also want to be very guarded in saying her name until this is all done, because I don't want to do anything that can hurt our claim. We had to file what they call a federal tort claim, and this is when somebody is a government employee and they practice healthcare. They are essentially insured by the government when it comes to malpractice, meaning I have to ask them to investigate and determine if malpractice has occurred. I can't just go after her professional insurance and duke it out that way. And essentially, they cover any malpractice claims, and then they determine if she needs to be reported to her board or not. I can still report independently, which I did, but really ultimately, from what I understand, most of the burden at this point is going to be on us. And so I have done everything I can to document. I document emails, I document receipts of any interactions I have with anybody. Like, I will keep this series going, and I will try to answer any questions I can that aren't going to hurt our case. I am really, really trying. I have a publicity rep, and I asked him if he could please pitch my story to some news channels, maybe in Atlanta. I am more than willing to share some redacted for his privacy information that substantiates my claim. And there's a lot of information that is unredacted that I can share to substantiate his claim. There's just some really sensitive information that I feel he has a right to privacy for. I mean, he's a combat veteran and he was trying to get trauma therapy, and she essentially exploited the conversations he had with her in sessions for content in an attempt to monetize on YouTube. And I'm not opposed to therapists educating people on YouTube. I'm not opposed to therapists talking about case types, case scenarios, case studies. But the interesting thing is her channel was started in 2013. She didn't post her first video until like 3 weeks after her first session with my husband, which was July of 2023. And then when I really sat down and started measuring things out, a lot of the content she was making was within 3 to 7 days of his therapy sessions. And a lot of the content, even the topic mirrored, even if the wording wasn't verbatim. There are 2 videos in particular that are almost entirely verbatim. And then there are several where certain sections of it are verbatim, but most of the rest of it is general. Now, that may be other people's content. I have no way of knowing. But yeah, it's crazy. I feel like it's layers of an onion that I just keep peeling back and finding more and more shit.